I can hear people moving around. I've had several hours of uninterrupted sleep, and recall when June was first called. There. That's been switched off, I see. That was back at 1970 when I was working on the Type 21 naval systems at Snoopy. Right, lightning tour of the Lovelock household from a security point of view, and working occasionally with uninterrupted sleep or interrupted sleep. So, lots of security devices. One, EFO to go off. Right, that stuff has been there for years. First hint of warning of one of the occupants of this household. Okay, in the door. CCTV on. Spent a little bit of time sleeping there. Right, I'll point out a few odds and ends. Let's start from here. Memories of Shape Technical Centre, but we go much further back than that, back at Ferrantes, but let's just go from there. Okay, that was from leaving. Yeah, that captures, I suppose, the recent years. Coming back, there's a camera. Right, that's the sort of thing, like the robot boat stuff. Of course, low tech compared with the stuff that the Yanks were working with when I was working with them in the 70s. But of course, we're talking about before that. That is clearly just a dummy. Careful. That's an important picture, as all of these are. Georges, the Frenchman, very important to me. Our birthday card from Gus. Sorry about the politically incorrect guys, but those guys with that background all over the world will know that. Won't waffle on about that. Right, closed circuit TV on, low tech closed circuit TV that we've had for years. Maplin's supplied this stuff. I change it when it breaks. Unfortunately, Maplin's have gone bust. Just wired CCTV. Oh yeah. A picture, sorry, a book, Define Hitler, from the director of ESAMS. Other characters here. Lots of treasured family heirlooms. Samantha there, centre. Old vinyls from the early 70s through till later. We could only start buying records in the early 70s, working over at Shape Technical Centre. Right, that's enough of that stuff. It'd just be random flipping around as I remember things. Right, I got a bit of sleep down here last night. Put in place a few of the obvious security things. I can hear noises. That sounds like a music from a radio. What if somebody's up? Great, she's up. Good morning, dear. Do you remember coming down when I was working at ESAMS arriving for work to find that I'd worked there all night, and coming along very concerned. So this would have been about 1970, wouldn't it? Very, very concerned because I'd been sleeping, and there I was at the office. Right, office tea, that'll do for that. She's having a cup of coffee, lovely. It's beautiful as ever. Right, the study. Again, a dear ex-NATO friend, but before that, that was done at Frantis, in the Franti magazine. Loads of other guys here, friends all over the world. Ah, that's quite recent stuff. That's more recent. Gins. When he was into GPS stuff in Shenzhen, he's now into e-cigars and things. Yeah, loads of guys here. E-Sam's crowd. Yeah, one recent and sad place just on her doorstep. Lots of friends all around the world. Yeah, young Ferruccio. That's a few years ago when friends from Sicily came over. Enrico and Matilda. That's rowing along the canal near Odium Air Base. Base of other friends of ours. Right, load of other guys up here. Oh, what's that? Our first Christmas newsletter, business, before we were doing it digitally, I seem to remember. 1995. There you go. There's Saskia cleaning the Aleksey for Nick Knowles before the first bit of publicity. Gosh, there he is there, look. Ah, yeah, it's the Larsman, I think it is. TV, yeah, that's right. Ah, yes, there's me in a suit. Ah, yeah, June graduating from doing a late degree at university with Jack, her dad, my mum and dad, again with her. Blowing out the candles. That's Becky. On my dad's 80th birthday. Yeah, so we're all basically taking turns to pose with the funny hat. So that was 1995. Loads more stuff down here. Yes, that's where I was being pushed a few years ago. I used to have my computer in the corner of the lounge, and now it's here. Lots and lots of books. Bookcase sagging under the weight. Hardly any room for my books. Most of these are June's stuff. I've got some very important ones of mine. Goes way back to university days. This sort of stuff. The Outline of Wireless. How sad that even all those years ago I was into covert surveillance. Look at that, wrecked that book in order to put stuff inside it. Can't remember what the technology is. I mean, what a waste. But perhaps it's that alone that makes it so valuable. So, loads of stuff there. Oh yeah, practical things as well. Sellotape. The main thing is, if your memory's beginning to fail, or you're very, very busy, of any age, it sometimes pays to keep things in familiar places. That particularly applies to the games room. Yeah, better mention a few things about money here. As soon as we went over to Shape Technical Centre, the nice little tax-free NATO job that's actually accelerated us getting married in 1971, very quickly came into a load of money. And so we bought the Charlie Church house, that was before this extension was built, cash. Well, it was on a free mortgage, and it was settled up cash soon after. Back in, I think it was about 1977, before the places were built. That was because we had both sets of parents looking around. Anyhow, that's the house. So I think, doing it correctly, but this was the dining room, I think. So that was 33.5 grand. Then, mad keen, we come back to England in 1980 and we say, yes, splash out a load of money on an extension. So I managed that process. Obviously, anyhow, that was £4,500 it cost me. I know. Ridiculous amount of money. Such a lot. And of course, the priority, this was the games room, right? Our kitchen was shifted. So it would have been just here, okay? And that was extended out over here. Right. This was Robin's games room, although we would also use it as a dining room. So when we chose the snooker table, yeah, full-size snooker table, we chose one that you could put a lid on it, and we also used to play table tennis on it. Okay, loads of other heirlooms here, and of course the way things have gone, we just, both being hoarders, here downstairs, as you see, mostly the evidence of my hoarding. Other things, yeah, the boomerang that I made over in Holland. Again, old videos of that being thrown by me, with smaller ones made by the boys. Very recent bottle tracking project, and given to me by Layla Curtis, the owner. Oh yeah, robot boat, didn't use loads of robot boat stuff here. This is what has been the main thing, the only thing I had like a workshop. And of course every Christmas all this stuff has to get cleared out, which is a hell of a lot of work. Much better if we could just throw stuff away slowly. Anyhow, the garden. This is this year, and I thought, right, a load of the stuff is what, as a young man back in 1980, when we got back from Holland, I did all this stuff, laying the slabs, all this patio stuff was all done here, all this, yeah, that was all done by a fit young man. By the way, if you go to the Frimley Park Hospital page, you'll see a very relevant introduction and a video of showing how fit I was in those days. It was in fact rescuing a antelope from a cheetah. Right, so all of this, the pond, oh yes, the telescope I built in the, what was that, must have been about 1966, in the back garden. Now, when you look at the garden now, it's extremely different from what it was a year ago, because the whole garden had become overgrown. What I decided to do this year, and June was very much in favour of it, we had a grand plan that the house sort of changing windows, which hadn't been worked on for ages. Give you a glance at this, how bad it is. And there is an ulterior motive of leaving the stuff like this and doing things step by step. Okay, and this is the route one has to take around the side of the house. It's less of a safety hazard as it used to be, but don't forget, security is one of the themes of this, and this is an unclassified video. Okay, so rumours being spread around, in some case malicious, some case just gossip, many cases it will be people like Nottingham knockers coming to the door, and unlike the conventional advice, I meet them at the door and shoot a knife in, and basically they go away with the right information or misinformation on who lives there. So let's imagine you're a visitor to the door. What you're going to see, well, there's work in progress at the moment. You come in, oh yeah, all these amazing things here. Yeah. Ammo boxes. Yeah. In fact, from their geocaching hobby. Yeah, work to be done there. Okay. Oh yeah, there's a webcam that anybody could see remotely, because it's yeah, cheap enough from Shenzhen. Oh, what's this in there? Oh, there's an old sign. I've got to update these signs. Yeah, they see that. They see a Dr. Strangelove DVD. Yeah, there is a link there. Oh, it's the home of the Dr. Strangelove of Sunninghill. Yeah, we just noticed a fault here. This fella's not working. That's the flatulent gnome from Australia. Right. Now, let's assume that after somebody's heard about this place and the people living there have pots of money, or certainly more than your average guy. So, how are we going to do this? Well, a bit difficult to do it from the front. Yeah, I didn't show one of the most important cameras. This is just wired and it's been there for years. Occasionally we shift it around. They can't miss that. Okay? So they usually ask to wave to the camera. Now, Snoopy's robot boat. He's parked here. Yeah, okay, that matches up with, you'll find, you Google something Snoopy's robot boat and you'll find loads of stuff. So let's creep round, okay? Now, the truth is, a lot of the security stuff here needs work on, okay? And probably won't work. No, that's not working. Well, some of these things won't go off as soon as it's light. Of course, they're still recording stuff. Yeah, that's water. I wonder what that's going to be used for. Yeah, well, the hoses need to be hidden. Right, so now a lot of things would have happened a long time, if this is at night, for example, a long time before then. And of course, just think about it, am I going to leave stuff switched on that might be dangerous for visiting friends and families? The question is, they don't know what's switched on and what isn't. I mean, and that's why I have to be very, very careful. Oh yeah, that's a off-the-shelf thing just been thrown there, that's recent. There's a lot of mixture, obviously not showing you everything, but gives you a flavour. A lot of stuff waiting to be planted. That's the view inside. The telescope, you've seen that. Right. Certain repetition here. The difference is I'm pointing out that we have been doing a bit of work. So although a lot of the basic stuff is the same, we've now, this thing has been a few years, but we've basically thrown away bits of it. It's been used as a trellis to train a plant wisteria, and echinacea up there. We've got a chimney. Again, this has got to be tidied up. But yeah, do that. It's in work in progress. A lot of work in progress here, but we've already been able to make good use of this. It's getting a bit late in the year for barbecues, but when it's absolutely still, especially with the chimney going, it's a lovely place to sit. Get the wildlife come right up to you. So there's a summer house over there. Sundial, yeah, I did that years ago. Yeah, that's a very recent thing. Paul and I have just been getting that lower pond into a decent state, and we're ready to stick plants. When I say we, it's that Paul and I just do the engineering work, and it's returning the favours. You know, before him, Jonathan was doing the same thing. This was an impulse by June and myself. June saw it when we were looking around for plants and things, and she says, "How about that?" Yeah, great. Did a deal, and turns out it was made in Bali. And if I'd have known that, I would have grabbed it even quicker. And we're ready to start putting the plants in, basically. Squeaky chicken. I haven't put the peanuts down for that, which is the favourite feeding ground of things like the little foxes. Mirrors. Temporary pond. June doesn't like the idea of a third pond, and I would like it, but I'm prepared to compromise when one's negotiating. So that will get tidied up sometime or other. So we've got a load of bulbs to put in, bit of topsoil finishing off work there. I just noticed something didn't work. I'll give it another try, unless it was just I didn't reach out far enough. Oh, all right. Ah, great, no problem. Okay. Yeah, that's the £20 water squirter, and it's to catch the heron, because he normally comes in from that approach. Now, be careful don't misinterpret my words whenever I'm talking about this. Those devices I've been using for years. Obviously, I'm sensible. The most they're going to have is, well, in this application, obviously clean water. It's not absolutely perfect for wildlife, but it's from our tap, which garden tap. So it's good enough for wildlife. It shouldn't do them any harm. Of course, technically, yeah, I'm going to show you the summer house in a moment. Technically, they're capable. Technically, irresponsible people or crazy ex-NATO scientists might be crazy enough to put something worse in a security device that's hidden, same sort of thing, but instead of water they might put something like soapy water or urine that could be used as a DNA tracer, or a more professional DNA tracer. Acid is a very popular topic at the moment, involving a lot of legislation. That's why you can't easily go and buy a product like One Shot that I've had in the window for some time, and we're still able to use at the moment as a professional. Now, take very great care in interpreting my words here, because anybody that's using that sort of stuff is obviously well, they're asking for trouble, not just from police, but possibly from some of my mates. Okay, because there's people a lot more dangerous than others. I haven't mentioned paint. How embarrassing if you're a little petty criminal, and what gets released on YouTube is you creeping into a garden, caught on CCTV, and getting sprayed all over with bright orange fluorescent paint. Right. Then I haven't mentioned the other things, like obviously bad army humour, particularly at the time of what's been going on in Salisbury, but military grade nerve agent. Right, we got a summer house. Very pleased with the supplier of that. June and I both agreed it was a good idea, but everywhere we looked, the best delivery you could get was, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks promised, with practically all the money paid, you know, at least a week or two before delivery. The deposit pretty massive as well, but I mean, as it happens, we did a deal and this came within a week. So let's have a look. First of all, one thing that June doesn't like is I've seen a load of units in the field, I guess from early 70s, and most people I think know of the MASH series, Mobile Army Field Hospital. So I like the idea of making it look more like a MASH unit in terms of, some of you Google it up and you'll find some of the old series made in the times of the Vietnam War, but the actual programme talks about the Korean War, 1951, and I've got old mates who were in that. So, back to a lighter note again. Let's check it out. Now, I think June went crack round last night and locked it, and she had good reason to check the security, because I rang her, said. But this, probably can't see anything there because I can't get in, but basically the bad army humour, we got video taken a day or two ago, talks about it as a NATO interrogation centre. Don't forget, all my videos, when they're on YouTube, they can be private, but the vast majority are public, because you're just careful what's filmed. Can easily be switched with a little button at the bottom right to show automatic subtitles in any language. And since I've got friends in about 150 countries, including current ones, talking to each other and me, west coast of the States, like Ted, Australia and Russia, like Aleksey's got his own page on the site. That's it, talking enough, but there's a lot of information in this video. So, back, see whether somebody's trying to lock me out of the house. I had to turn the heating up when I woke up this morning, because somebody had tuned it down. Right. Oh yes, don't want to give too many surprises away. That was in its normal residence, which was the NATO interrogation centre. We've just seen the summer house, at least recently, but of course it's Halloween tonight, American tradition. So I think that's about it. Fonzie Bear. Yeah, covert mission, all filmed, but a private video. Was creeping into somebody's house in their village, and it's not the first time it's been done. I quite like the character Radar Riley in MASH, who sleeps with a teddy bear. So it's happened that a few guys here or in Chobham have recently woken to find that they're cuddling a teddy bear, and so long as family, for example, like the idea, that picture might get released within a small network of people. It might be family or whatever. Well, this particular one is a bit more practical, right? Because in fact, I think it was their daughter Michelle's, and I put something useful in it. So it was a means of delivering. So the chap, all on video, not to be seen unless you've got a need to know. What is inside it is basically the same sort of phone developed for pensioners, and it turns out when we got this excellent advice from Tesco Warfield, I said I'm looking for something which is simple and somebody can, like that, as an email that's a text. I don't take the internet away with me. So this, as it has got a camera on it, and it's June's dad's old phone, and I thought, yeah, that's just the job, when he passed away. And it just so happens, and it's not deliberate, that the guy, Jim, I think it was, in Tesco said, right, when you describe what you're looking for, one of these, which, as it happens by coincidence, is just slightly later version of the one I use. Main annoyance is that it's limited with its number of entries in the address book, consequently I have to write down things, and this is quite clear, on loan, okay. And somebody who's never used one of these before, at least it says, if you want to operate it, I won't trigger it now, you'll be glad to know, but if you basically just have to press the button, you don't have to do anything other than press the button that's there and open it, and that will ring whoever is programmed to ring, which in this particular one is programmed at the moment to ring the chap's mum and myself, but it could be a telecare centre, could be police, could be anything. So basically that's that, and that was the means of delivery, which is the lovely chap chatted about this. In fact, no, I've got to be careful what I say, because this is an unclassified video, but there's a lot of guys in the village that know the family, know the guy, and know that he, is my phone full? It's got that would be, if it was programmed for it, that fall would actually trigger the emergency call, because there's a fall alarm capability, again intended for pensioners, but one of the requirements, hopefully that's not broken it, is that the thing should be capable of doing that. The reason for the fall might be you're an old doddery old man like myself, well, it probably looks as though it's still working, or you might be somebody that gets into scrapes, or just simply staggers about and drops his phone. But the phone is important. Not a smartphone. I've got smartphones, but I only use those for messing around with the high-tech stuff. Right, enough waffle. Very long, boring video. Heating. I found out that someone in the house had set it to be off. I like it nice and warm, so that I don't have to wrap myself up. But anyhow, that almost certainly get changed back by somebody. Yeah, I think that wraps it up. You'll be relieved to know, but there's a lot of information there. Yeah, there's a diary of stuff. A lot of stuff gets put on USB sticks, not just on the internet, which my page is duplicated. No, I've got one more thing to show you, which I'm sure will annoy you, which is, that is CCTV at the moment. This is June's television, believe it or not, that she's been wanting. She likes the latest high-tech stuff. So let's see if we can select a different channel, and of course as soon as we got it and put it in place, and I made a little table for it, and we agreed, yeah, let's put these bits and pieces, I got a cheap Lenovo PC that cost me £60 with Windows 10. I would have preferred Windows XP, so I got several of those, and we put them in various places, including the summer house. It is about to put it there. That hasn't been plugged in yet, but to a friend of mine, Terry, that you'll see on other videos, like the Team Joker video. So, okay, let's now, supposing you say, I'll give you one of these. I get through more of these cards now than I ever did when the business was very active. I told the taxman that it finished in, I don't know, 2012 something, but June will tell you, as she does, that I retired 20 years ago. Just been hobby. So let's have a look at what the website, if you go to that www.gpss.co.uk, hit F11, right, this is what you see. The first two bold paragraphs tell you all you need to know about me and June. That's it. In simple words with links and pictures. Because some people these days, or most people these days, do things on little smartphones that don't present as clearly as on a normal screen. I don't mean a fancy screen, I just mean a little laptop or tablet. The least they should see here is this. These pages may not present clearly on some small smartphone screens. Please use a normal large screen on a desktop, laptop or tablet in landscape mode. Thank you. Copyright Robin Lovelock. In fact, we found that some of the phones, the cheapest smartphone I found just for testing stuff was £60 from Tesco's at Warfield. That comes through Alcatel in France, so they're buying them probably, or rather selling them to people like Tesco for probably, I'm guessing, £30, and they're coming out of Hong Kong, which I'm guessing would be about £10. This is low quantity. High quantity prices, it would be less than that. That's just a guess from talking with the guys in Shenzhen, not about that particular product. Then again, it depends how good a business person they are, whether they've negotiated a good enough deal. Right, just to give you a flavour of stuff that's here, the Snoopy robot boat page is the one I would point out. I've mentioned others, so I'll click on the changing picture of the robot boat, and hopefully that was a picture from a couple of nights ago. So let me just see if I can get it to work. There we go. No. Okay. Probably, no matter whether it's the radio is working. Yeah, there we go. Snoopy's GPS guided transatlantic robot boat. You can click on these pictures. That goes into, if you're technical, into the Micromite computer from Australia. That goes into Aleksey's page. Aleksey currently in St. Petersburg, and previous to that he was in Novosibirsk in Siberia. And I won't say more about Aleksey because it's all on his page, and it says at the top, press latest news below before you phone me, mention 05 whatever, latest news. There's the picture taken a couple of nights ago. Here's the text of the description of a latest attempt at the Atlantic. There is the track that everybody could follow, which the spot tracker was going off every 5 minutes, and there's a link. The only problem is there was a flaw in the spot tracker, so we basically aborted the attempt. There is more information, again in words, and the bit that is well worth playing is, I click on that, and this was only put up yesterday, so
just going from the hotel Boston to Boston Pier.
yeah, and so that's Boston Pier there, and what we thought we'd do is drive to where we might have launched from if it wasn't the problem with the spot tracker. Right, the thing to watch out for those that are interested in security aspects is guys that are in picture occasionally. Some of them might be a mate or two of mine that is playing a part in this and might appear briefly, or it just might be a coincidence of a suspicious looking bystander, which is 95% of the case, if not 99%. So occasionally you'll get glimpses of people. Usually find it's pretty easy because what I do, of course, is I approach everybody we meet, and there's some fantastic bits where we met people there, like a couple of students at the groin that we normally launch Snoopy from. You know, you can see a lot of information in body language, including June's face there. Right, either that or she's a blooming good actress. Right, this is the groin, I think, where we normally launch from. Yeah, it's getting near sunset, and yeah, paddle boarders. Absolutely perfect conditions for a launch, and it was only the fact the tracker wasn't working that we didn't. Paddle boarders. Now, I don't think these guys earn more than paddle boarders. Practically everybody. They just there's a cafe here, the Prom Diner at Boston. Yeah, very practical things. This is the place that we decided we're going to be going back. Not this particular place, but for example, the hotel we stayed in just up the road. There was a lovely Italian waiter. It just so happened by coincidence that he was from the same village, Belluno in the Dolomites, as a friend where we had one of my birthdays several years ago. That'll be on the holiday page. Right, we're now driving to the actual spot. The reason the importance of this in this context is a couple of people we met. They were students at Bournemouth University Media Studies, so they're very much into collecting video. Okay, and I modified that. I thought it'd be nice to go to the so spot and just see. I'm going to let that carry on running now. So we're well into, well, all of this is unclassified, okay? It's not the least bit sensitive as far as I'm concerned. And we won't bother to include all of it on this because we don't want the whole video to be too long, because it takes an age to process the video, even if it's just leaving the computer going, and even longer to upload it onto YouTube. That's my main reason. I don't mind people getting bored and switching off, which they do when I'm talking. In fact, most people switch off within 10 seconds. Unless I'm talking about a subject which they're madly keen on. I mean, for example, it could be Grand Prix Formula 1. So that would be our eldest daughter Samantha, and Paul is on a private video, and somebody you see all over the place getting up to mischief with me, which is Stuart. I've got to say which Stuart. This is Stuart Wicks, just round the corner. And we get up to all sorts of mischief over the years. So that's where we were last time. So there's another Stuart Quarry, famous for sailing, but that's on the Team Joker video. So the Team Joker video, the Team Joker guys video is well worth looking at if you're interested in people. We're going to walk that long distance to the first groin. Right, this is where the guys there watching the sunset go down, but with a camera. His girlfriend, I assume, from Bournemouth University. I've just found out that we've got Italian here tonight, and that's absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to write that down in the diary. Italian, and of course I received the right. I'm the only person who's written that down in the diary, and I a good boy. Why didn't I? I received the email. Yes, well, unfortunately, why didn't I write it down there? Unfortunately, I have been quite busy with a lot of other things. So, for example, yesterday morning, one of the main things I was doing at the beginning, and there's other things, is our lovely postman, Rob the postman, hasn't been coming, and I found out that he'd this chap. I've got to say a bit more about who Rob the postman is. This chap knows practically everybody on his patch, including us. For decades he's been coming here. He's separated from his wife, who's got possession of at least one of his kids. I think it may only be one, who's got special needs and is in a school in Bracknell. I'm sure he doesn't mind me giving this information, and I hope he's well. And yes, so I heard yesterday from the young postman who was coming round. I think it was Jim, but I can't be sure. That no, Rob has been sacked a month ago because he wasn't turning up for work. Well, that's been the case for all sorts of reasons. Health, I think mostly health, especially during that hot weather. He was coming around. I remember him stopping for a glass of water, or I'd leave water out for him. So practically all their neighbourhood here, yes, they know me, and they also know Rob. And basically, just one of the things that took priority for me. Now, I'm going to just repeat what I did a few minutes ago, and hopefully June won't get any problem here, which I put a bottle of non-alcoholic wine, which I find I really enjoy. It's cheap from Tesco. June found it and's got it, and I put it here as a reminder that because I have a lot of guys coming and I don't want alcohol in the house, right, that our summer house, yes, it will have a bar in it, and a lot of the time the guys will go out, but what's on our shopping list next time June or myself is convenient, we go past the supermarket, I'm going to get a decent quantity of those. And
that won't remind you.
Yes, it will. Okay, how will it remind you, dear? So, well, why are you spending time? Why don't you just get dressed? Just get dressed and relax.
That will remind me. If you leave it on the kitchen table, that would remind me.
Would it?
Yes.
But you don't have time to go getting a load of that today.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're not going to get it today,
Of
either.
course I am. I will. I'll get it today.
Well, don't leave it in there. Leave it here.
Eh? No,
Leave it here, because you're just as likely to see it here,
eh?
aren't you?
Yes,
Right.
dear, I am. Yes. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Except I spend most of the time. No, it's okay, dear. Yeah. Okay.
You're going out for lunch.
Yes, that's it. I've got the lads will be arriving here. The grumpy old men.
You've got to get your car sorted. Or have you done that?
No, you're saying I've got to get the car sorted. No, that isn't priority compared with Rob. I've just given that example.
Right. Well, get on with that then.
Eh?
Either get your car sorted or try and sort out Rob. Stop messing around.
Oh,
with that
June, you've
camera.
got no idea how much time is involved in helping somebody that's got those problems.
Right.
You've got
Well,
no
you're
idea.
just messing around with the camera.
I
You're not- you're
know.
not
I
doing
know.
anything
It's
productive.
because it's the only way of people knowing what the real situation is. Okay. Anyhow, this is getting to the stage. This is a public video, and it's rapidly getting to the stage where this ends up dominating it. So, okay, June.
You're
Right.
just showing how manic you are.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We were discussing earlier memories over the breakfast table, because discussing that behaviour with other people that know Bal in the mother of I've seen cost cutters. I've seen a lot of them recently. I don't think it's a secret to say he's the guy that I crept into the house and left this character with the mobile phone with. Of course, both her and Nick effectively said the same thing when I was around there last night. That wasn't the working quotes related to Rob. That was related to the family in the village, Coscutter family in the village, and it's strange that it's amazing. It's a pleasure, but the key thing is, he said, yeah, of course. I think it was Bal who said it. It might have been Nick. It was women. Women are always right, and that's certainly the easy way of putting it. And there's probably a lot of truth. Other guys might well recognise the same thing. The only problem is that June is always 100% right on everything, whatever the subject, including engineering, coping with difficult events, whatever it is. She's 100% right. But what we were discussing, because memories were coming back, my proposal to her, it turned out it was my first proposal to her. Now, although a lot of my friends know where it was and the circumstances of it, what June also remembers was the first proposal she didn't accept. The second proposal, which must have been no more than a few months later, because it was in the period that I'd been offered the job over as a NATO scientist. No, it wasn't. Yes, as a NATO scientist over in Holland, massive money and all the rest of it. I realised, well, I've got to make a decision. There's no way I'm going to turn that down. I don't know whether this courtship would last, although I was confident it would, and it did. So I made a proposal, but I'd forgotten that June had remembered that first proposal she said no. But she remembered the second proposal, which she said yes. And so I said, where was that? Because June doesn't remember things unless they're really, really important. And what she thinks is important are not the same as me. And she said, no, it was in the, make sure to get it right. I remember the dining room as I got it, but she said it was in the lounge, and you went, well, I won't bother to describe it. It was basically in the old house near the pumping station that I know well from memory, because it was where I first met the parents, including Jack, her dad, who passed away, what is it, a year and a half now, it must be. So this bit is very long-winded, as most of my videos are, but not as long-winded as some of the friends I know. But it contains important information, and I don't have the time to edit, but I've got friends that are in the business of video editing, so if I get this whacked up onto YouTube, anybody can see it, any of my friends, including the friends in lots of countries who have to have it translated to French or German or Russian, whatever it is, Indian particularly. So I thought, right, get this whacked out up onto YouTube when there's nothing else being done on the computer, just leave it running and let somebody else who's interested say, okay, you'll do you a favour, Robin, might even be return me a favour, and edit it. And one guy will remember all of this stuff, but he's not available right now, is Roy. So we worked together on the naval stuff at Ferrantes. He remembers how we went, typically working in the rig area at night and sleeping it off during the day up till lunchtime. Sometime, if things were that busy, you didn't have the luxury of too much sleep at home, so you called up napping in the office and things. That was just normal way we worked, and that was before June got involved. And as I've said enough times, she got the advice to join Ferrantes to meet eligible young engineers. Yeah, we got our Italian class tonight, and what does that say, the screensaver? June è molto stupido. June is very stupid. Here, June, you want to witness this? It's a little mouse. He's trying to jump out, and I'm just to let him go. Not into the pond. He can run away now. Right, where you want to run away? How about just there? Off you go. Whee! Where's he gone? There he's gone. Right. That's called grabbing the opportunity. That's my normal routine in the morning, which is putting the peanuts out. So let's do that. This is for the CCTV. Everything likes the peanuts, little fluffy foxes. We're going to have a bird feeder swing in from the telescope soon. And yeah, maybe a home for the mouse. Oh, be aware of the water squirter, by the way, when you're feeding the peanuts. Oh dear. Yeah, as I said before, water squirters are obviously for scaring the heron. That's the route that the heron takes up to the pond, which we're coming along to having completed. But of course, now please forgive the army humour, water squirters can be loaded with water, paint, urine as a DNA tracer, or proper DNA tracer. Did I say paint? Bright orange paint. Even, as I said, please forgive the army humour, even military grade nerve agent. Okay, back in and carry on with what I was doing. Which is, June and I are preparing to go to the supermarket at Martin's Heron, where a lot of good ideas arose. And here's the closed circuit TV. That's the feeder near the different channels here. That's the top pond. That's looking up from the bottom pond. The water squirter comes up there. That's the front drive, which I obviously would have seen John coming in his Tesla, and that's out in the road. And that was after the guy from. That's enough at the moment. So we'll finish on that. Yeah, we got there, and shows a good spot. June's got the stuff. I'll lock up, shall I, June? Yeah. And usual, unusual security arrangement. Smile for the dash cam. Locked. And it's a spot near CCTV, just there. There you go, up there. Usual routine that we used to do with June's dad Jack. Absolutely loved it. And at the bottom of the grumpy page it explains why we love this place. Through the other side there is, I'll be stopping the camera now. It's the lovely thing. Yeah, well, you know what the thing is, seize the opportunity. Before we stick a note in there, I'm going to give these guys a choice. Do they want this one that's got 100 on it and a picture of nice Mr. Gandhi, right? Some people would be familiar with that. I've got it from our village, Sunninghill, where NATO was born, right? Yeah. And, there's a good old tenor with the Queen on. Of course, you better check it's not wet. And this one, which is Saudi Arabian Money Agency, I know well, related to tornado deals and things. So, okay, lads, what one shall I bung in? The tenor? Yeah? Okay, right. I shall take that. I've been offering it to every shop. Okay then? Yeah? I'll let you check that in. Okay? But that's not why I'm here. It's got to be careful because some Joe public may not want to be on camera. So that'll do for now, I think. I better join the wife. Okay, got the contact information. No, that's to go in the box. Yeah. I just wanted to see everybody doing it because that bit of video, right? So, yeah, okay, in a nutshell, in order that you might spread the word, okay?
Yeah, I'd be happy if I could talk to my boss. But we've got, I'm not getting it.
That's fine.
But we've got a letter in writing not to say anything to anybody from, which you're not, anybody from the media or anything like that.
Yes.
Until you spoke to the people in charge.
No, that makes sense, and I think I know who might have said it, and that's brilliant. Thank you very much, sir.
No, thank you.
No, but don't forget any of your mates. Pass that around.
Yeah, I certainly will.
Okay, lovely. Okay, I'll probably switch the camera off now. Okay, cheers. Lovely. Yeah, Ascot Hardware. Poiter said to swing past because he had a camera for me. Well, we've had the conversation earlier, but as I arrived in the shop, right, this is a cheat because it's a repeat, but his was ringing me just as I got in, and we've had the discussion, we've done the deal, right? Now, how much money do you want for this camera?
Well, out of those three money, I will choose that one.
Right. He knows better. He wouldn't take any money, he wouldn't take anything for it. As a friend, looking at it, it's absolutely the job to replace the camera that I've got that I keep having to bang. And I gave him the offer of Saudi Riyal, I think they are, or 100 rupees. Exactly. And he wisely knew to take the pound. So there's a record of the purchase. £1. Lovely. Right, okay, all I can say is thanks, mate.
Oh, no.
Okay, right, so just load it in the bag, and then I'll leave this rolling because then we're going to see what June's reaction is when I get back to the car, because I said I would be back. Right, I'm 1 minute overdue and I've got to walk 2 minutes down the road. So those are important to me, so I'm going to put those back in there. Right, no,